Welcome friends. Today we are going to discuss concept on digit dynamic programming, which is the extension of dynamic programming concept. We start with a problem. The problem statement is count numbers from A to B having the particular probability. Consider A equal to 565 and B equal to 10 to the power 18, which is a larger number. Here we need to find the numbers, count of numbers having sum of digits equal to 81. That is problem statement. We can solve this problem by using brute force approach. This is the logic. Initially we set count as 0 and we are starting from the value and ending with 10 to the power 18 and increment the counter, and we are using the logic to find sum of digits by passing the number and checking whether it is equal to 81. If it is equal to 81, just increment the counter by 1. Absolutely, this function incurs poor performance for a large number. So we need to use some other approach to solve this problem. So we can solve this problem by using dynamic programming concept, particularly digit dynamic programming concept. Before applying dynamic programming, we need to solve the recurrences. We need to identify the recurrence equations for solving this problem. Let us understand, consider the function to find number of values whose sum of digits equal to 81. Consider f is the function which accepts two arguments k and s, called f of k comma s, is equal to the count of number representation with exactly k digits having sum of digits equal to s. Okay. So consider f of k comma s is the count of number representation with exactly k digits having sum of digits equal to s. So for solving this problem, we form a recurrence like this. We can use recursion by using the formula like this. Summation d equal to 0 to 9. Because it is a decimal number, so this is ranging from 0 to 9. For solving f of k comma s, you have to solve f of k minus 1 comma s minus t, which has the initial condition as if k equal to 0. K means digits equal to 0 means a function will be f of 0 comma s. In that, if s equal to 0 means we have found one solution, otherwise it is 0. So when k equal to 0 means we have no digit. S is a sum, required sum. So this is the recurrences for solving this problem. So we can understand this recurrence by using the example. In f of k comma s, if kth digit is 2 means we calculate f of k minus 1 comma s minus 2. For example, we have 3 digits, consider, and the record sum is 81 means just pass f of 3 comma 81. For solving this problem f of 3 comma 81, we need to solve this problem called f of 2 comma 81 minus 2, that is 79. Likewise, we can solve this problem. So k is a digit and s is a sum. For solving f of k minus s, so k comma s, we need to solve f of k minus 1 comma s minus 0, f of k minus 1 comma s minus 1 up to f of k minus 1 comma s minus 9. This is the example, simple example. By recursively, we can solve this problem. If in f of k comma s, if kth digit is 2 means we calculate f of k minus 1 comma s minus 2, count of number representation with exactly k minus 1th digits having a sum of digits equal to s minus 2. So we can solve this problem. After forming the recurrence, we can solve this problem by using the recursive code. Just have the function with respect to argument k comma s. If k equal to 0, there is initial condition which I discuss here. K equal to 0, just check if s equal to 0. If s equal to 0 means the sum is jacket sum is 1, jacket sum is 0, so it returns 1. Otherwise, return 0. This is the base condition. Then we go for general condition. General condition, before apply checking general condition, just set count equal to 0. Then use loop starting from 0 to 9 for digits, decimal digits 0 to 9, and add the count by recursively calling the f function. So f of k comma s can be called, calculated by using f of k minus 1 s minus d. After solving this problem, written in the count. This program, recursive program, incurs the poor performance. The running time for this program is big O of 10 power k. K is a number of digits. If number of digits is more than 10 means it's a big thing, no? So it incurs poor performance, so we go for some other approach. So we use dynamic programming approach. Before getting into dynamic programming approach, digit dynamic programming approach, we just try a recursive tree whether it leads to a overlapping subproblem. Why we choose dynamic programming? If your problem contains overlapping subproblem means we can go for dynamic programming. Okay, consider we have 2 digits and record sum is 3. That can be formed by using the recursive function called f of 2 comma 3. For solving the 2 comma 3, we have to use recursive call. Here we have to use f of 1 comma 3. Made a mistake. For solving f of 2 comma 3, just you have to recursively call f of 1 comma 3, then 1 comma 2, then 1 comma 1 up to negative values. Okay, when it says base condition means it just terminator. So starting from 1 comma 3 goes on horizontally, it goes on. Then for solving 1 comma 3, we need to recur by using f of 0 comma 3, 0 comma 2, 0 comma 1, it goes on. For solving 1 comma 2, you have to use f of 0 comma 2, 0 comma 1, and it goes on. So this is partial representation of recursive tree. I didn't draw fully. Okay, this problem contains overlapping subproblem. That is why we are going a dynamic program. See here, we have overlapping subproblem. For larger input, we have so many overlapping subproblems. Here also we are having, here also we are having. You see any overlapping subproblem. That is why we are going for dynamic programming approach. To solve this problem, it is very easy. Just to use memorization concept. In dynamic programming, we are just recording the value. For example, at initial pass, we are already calculated f of 0 comma 2. If you store this data into some variable, array variable, means no need to calculate f of 0 comma 2 again. That is the power of dynamic programming, which involves digits, no? Processing digits and finding the sum of the digits. That is why it is called digit dynamic programming. Just understand the dynamic programming version of that previous problem. Just to declare a 2-dimensional variable and initially set the array variable to -1. Same function if f int f f is a function int k comma s, int k comma int s. Just have a base condition which is discussed previously. Same base condition. If k equal to 0, and check if s equal to 0. If this true, it will return 1, then else return 0. Then have dynamic programming approach. Use a dynamic dp of k comma k of s. K mean for digit, s mean for sum. Initially it was minus 1. If it is minus 1 means we didn't calculate that f of k comma s already. So just use recursive approach. If it is not equal to minus 1 means we have already computed that value, that is f of k comma s. So just return the value. If it is not equal to minus 1, just return the value. Otherwise, we didn't calculate that. So we use the basic approach by recurring it. By using this step int count equal to 0 for int t equal to 0, t less than or equal to 9, t plus plus, count equal to count plus f of k minus 1 plus minus t. Finally, return the count and also record the dp, and there is a value, count value into dp of k of s. This is the dynamic programming approach to find the number. The problem is to find the count of number representation with exactly k digits having sum of digits equal to s. So this is the dp approach. The running time for this approach is order of k into s. K is the sum number of digits, s is the sum required. Okay. Now our problem is count of numbers from a to b in number representation with exactly k digits having sum of digits equal to x. That is, we need to find m of x, count of number less than x, basically from 0 to x minus 1, which have the given property. So for finding the value m of a, for example, a count of number less than x, generally x. So here my problem is count of number from a to b, no? In number represented with exactly k digits having sum of digits equal to x, no? So we need to find m of a and m of b. After that, to solve this problem, we need to use the formula m of b plus 1 minus m of a. So if you find m of b plus 1 and m of a means, we can easily identify the solution. Okay. Now I take an example to solve this problem. Consider we have x equal to 698. We have to find the number less than 689. Consider x equal to 689. How to find the number less than 689 whose sum of digit is 12. Here we need to find m of 689, then convert to an array. If you use C++, you can use vector. This holds following properties. If you understand the properties, it's very easy. Number y less than x. If the length of y, for example, we are for finding the numbers, set of numbers, the sum of digits is equal to 2, we need to have a values which is less than x, that is y. Consider number y is less than x if length of y, length means number of digits, length of y is less than the length of x. Okay. If length of y is less than the length of x, the number y is less than x. Okay. The number y is less than x if length of y is less than the length of x. We can conclude that. The number y is less than x if they are equal length and there is a digit y of I less than x of I. Okay. The number y is less than x if they are of equal length and there is a digit y of I less than x of I, and for all the digits j less than I, y of j equal to x of j, equation hold true. That is, they are equal from left to right unit of a digit I, where y of I less than x of I. When this happens, then all digits at y of j where j greater than I can be in the range 0 to 9. For example, if we, y and x have equal length, means some digits may be of equal values. Okay. So we need to take any one of the digits and iterate over the 0 to 9. So if you understand this property, means you can easily solve this problem. We need to check the condition while defining this, while solving this problem. Consider initially we set the answer equal to 0, bracket answer equal to 0. We need to find the count of numbers smaller than 689 whose sum of digits 12 and whose first digit is 0. Here we are moving from left to right. For 689 we need, it has 3 digits now. We are moving from left to right. We are starting from 0. First digit is 0. Further, of course, the function will be f of 2, 12. Next, we need to identify the count of numbers smaller than 689 whose sum of digits 12 and whose first digit is 1. So finally, the function will be f of 2, 11. Similarly, you need to find the count of numbers smaller than 689 whose sum of digits is 12 and whose first digit is 2. The function will be f of 2, 10. And we are, if you consider first digit is 3, the function will be f of 2, 9. If first digit is 4, the function will be 2, 8. If first digit is 5, the function will be 2, 7. So finally, we need to add all the answers. Okay. So we are here now. We have identified the count of numbers included smaller than 600. Okay. Now the property changes because we are just ignoring the first digit. We are moving for second digit. Numbers, count of numbers, sum of digits equal to 12 minus 6 equal to 6. Because we have processed up to 600 now. Now we need to take care of other two digits. Other two digits, when you subtract that is MSB value in 689, we are having 6 now. That value to 12 means you will get 6. So now we are in a position to find count of numbers smaller than 89 whose sum of digits equal to 6 and whose first digit is 0. Here we are taking second digit, that is from left to right. So that digit should be in the range from 0 to 8 because the second digit is 8 now, so we need to starting from 0 to 8. 7, I think so. Yeah, we are having so we need to consider first digit is 0 and first digit is 1 and first digit is 2 up to 8. Finally, we have functions like f of 1. We have to calculate f of 1, 6, 1, 5, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2. Okay. So after that, just answer or the answer with the previous answer. We will get like this. Now, properties change. Again, when you consider large digit, the properties change. We need to identify sum of digits equal to 6 minus 8 minus 2. Because already you have remaining value is 6 now. Now you just have subtract last digit value. If you are having 6 minus 8, total that is minus 2. Second digit value is 8 now. So just subtract with 8, we get minus 2. So we are not expecting the sum which is which is negative. So we expect only positive and just terminate it. In this way we can calculate. Because really you can calculate. If you use dynamic programming, like we discussed before, this approach, this problem, you can easily solve. So I have used array, 2-dimensional array, to check whether we have recorded the data or not. Here I have 2 dimensions. For storing the counts, I'm maintaining the students array. This function we have already discussed. We have to have a digit comma a. Previously it was k. Now here I'm using d. Just have a function f into d comma into s. If d equal to 0 means return the 0 value. Otherwise, if s equal to 0, return 1. Otherwise 0. If you are recording the value, if the value is already recorded means just simply return. Otherwise, set the value as 1, memory value as 1. It means that we have previous record. That is, we have memorized the data. And like previous approach, just use for loop starting from 0 to 9. And store the counter. Ret equal to ret plus f of d minus 1 comma s minus I. Then store the calculator value, count value to the two-dimensional array, and finally return it. This problem, this routine we have discussed already. Now we need to find m of x now. That is solution. Already I told about this. Here, for solving this problem, we need to find m of a and m of b. A and b is given by the user. After that, just find m of b plus 1, then m of a, just subtract it. Okay. Here I have named as solution. It has one argument, that is m of x. Have the result value as 0. Made a mistake. Just have a character array variable, convert integer to a character array. And find the length by using string length, str length of, okay, that I missed it. Find the length of a character array. That is, the digit value is converted into string. Just set the initial sum as yes, which is inputted by the user. Initially set length value to the quad value. Initially it was, for example, if you have 3 digits, quad will be 3. At every pass, we need to decrement quad value by 1. Just starting from 0 to length. Just decrement the quad value by 1. Okay. For crossing 3 digit, we start need to pass. Just extract the actual integer values from the character array. Okay. Then use for loop, which is starting from 0 to t. Just check if sum minus j greater than or equal to 0. That is, resultant value should be greater than or equal to 0. Otherwise, we can't count it. If greater than or equal to 0, just return equal to return plus that function. Previously, we have used this function f function. Call this function by passing the digits comma sum. Then close it. After processing every digit, we need to subtract the digit in the sum. Okay, for example, if you have 689 means starting from we are starting from left to right now. First, just subtract by 6. Next, you have to subtract by 8. Next, you have to subtract by 9. Okay, if you subtract it, please ensure that sum should be greater than or equal to 0. This is the condition. In this way, we can solve this problem because finally you have to return it. So, for solving this problem, that is count of numbers from A to B in number representation with exactly k digits having sum of digits equal to x, we need to use this formula. This we have to call a solution of b plus 1. When user passes a and b means just solve this solution of b plus 1 and the solution of a, then subtract it. Finally, you get original solution. In this way, we can play with the digits by using dynamic programming. Rather than using recursive approach, we can go for memorization concept that is used in dynamic programming. So, practice well. So, there are other problems which is relating to this problem. It is finding the count of numbers whose digit is prime. Okay, that is we have to give a values a and b, and we need to find the count of prime numbers whose sum of digits is prime number. Okay. In this way, by using this digital programming, we can solve this problem. Okay, thank you.